say, goddamn. You said, all right. I said, let's do a podcast. Let's sit down. Let's get a coffee. Let's just talk about 1, 2, 3, 4. Coffee with the Sam. Got a little podcast. Grab yourself a little coffee and a podcast.
Look at my big bottle of proper 12.
I just see that.
Conor McGregor's one, that is. Alex's brother got it me for my birthday.
Yeah.
So what was the hearing test for the military?
Yeah. Well, I've had a couple of hearing tests. That's my last job. I had to have a hearing test as well.
The engineering job. Was that engineering job? Someone asked me at work yesterday about it.
NDT, non-destructive testing. So what I was doing is testing welds. Well, not actually testing welds in my last job. It was more testing titanium bars in a tank of water, rotating it around and then scanning it ultrasonically. But I think it's because it was a factory sort of setting. You had to have ear defence on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just to monitor, so see where your hearing is to start off with, so they basically can't like screw you over at the end to say that you've had hearing decreases at the time.
So what are them bars used for?
All sorts, mate. All sorts. Like our biggest suppliers was Rolls-Royce, Airbus. So mostly aerospace.
So were the bars automotive. Like cranks, engine parts, or
literally, or imagine a plane that gets made from something.
Yeah.
This is what it gets made from.
Oh, okay.
Most of the parts in a plane is made from titanium. Long wearing, durable, tough.
So it was a piece of metal,
just like a bar, a massive.
And then that would go off and be moulded into something, but it had to be tested first.
Yeah. So you could see the inside because it obviously gets melted down from little tiny pieces. Basically, it all gets crushed together.
Yeah.
And then there's like a soaking and let it dry and heat it up again, let it dry, and there's like a way that they work it, so it's really, really, really strong. And then because of the way that it's created, there could be voids or cracks on the inside, and there's not really any other way to see it.
Ultrasonic. That's like high pitched sound, right? That's what ultrasonic is, right?
Yeah, basically a sound wave. Yeah.
And that would pick up that it's damaged.
Yeah, so it sends like a signal. The easiest way to sort of describe it is you put the probe on the top of the bar, and it will send a pulse, if you want, to the bottom of the bar and then back up. And you know the width of the bar, so you know where that signal should come up. So basically, if anything comes up between the front wall and the back wall, you know that there's something there that shouldn't be there.
Oh, so it just goes straight through.
Basically, yes. It's a lot
in
more.
Simple terms.
Yeah, in simple terms. When I worked in Belgium,
layman's terms,
that was angles and welds, and that was much harder.
Oh, I bet.
Much harder. There was a lot of people much better than me. Much better than me, actually.
So the ear test things you would have was just to make sure that it's not affecting your hearing.
Yeah. Certainly in that job, in the army, it was more. You have an annual hearing test because you sort of play with
guns,
and
I can't wait to get into guns.
Yeah, it's good. I think it just became a bit normal towards the end. I've done it since. Went to Budapest on a shooting range. That was really good. Really enjoyed it. I used to love paintballing. Get a bit too into it, probably.
With going on with the hearing test, because when I was a mechanic, it was only ever smoke tests to make sure that we're not inhaling too much smoke and stuff. Because we should have had ear tests really.
Yeah.
Because the noise, the air tools and stuff we were playing with.
Yeah.
So when they're testing that, could that then say that you need to leave the military or leave the job you're in if it comes back bad?
If it's really bad, if you can't hear something out of one ear, then you're not in a good way because you might not be able to hear something what someone's telling you, and it might be move out of the way, you're just going to get run over sort of sketch. So I don't think it happens very often. I don't know enough about hearing to know, but I have had a perforated eardrum, and that's kind of went back to normal. I think ears are quite durable and they do heal quite well.
Yeah, I had a friend who he'd been in the military, older friend. So I know you're quite old, but an older friend. So obviously he wasn't as looked after back then.
Yeah.
And he ended up with tinnitus from it.
Tinnitus,
Tinnitus,
yeah.
And it's mad because I used to spend a lot of time with him, and when he said he was suffering from it, I was okay. Didn't really get it until I watched that movie with oh my god, the country movie with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Oh, the Star.
And
Star
is Born, and he's got
I haven't actually
tinnitus.
watched that yet.
He's got it, and he starts drinking because of it, because that's the only time he can get the buzz to go away.
Yeah,
Then when he's on stage, he can't hear, so he gets it ramped right up in his ears. So then he's going again. It just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, it can't be nice.
And
I
then
think that's the problem. You don't know it. Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You don't know at the time necessarily. And you think, well, I don't really want to wear ear defenders or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you actually have to. Certainly in my last job, you did have to wear them. You were supposed to wear them, but a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
Because it isn't that easy to hear people. So, but then it's too late, and there's nothing you can. Once you've got tinnitus, I don't think there's anything you can't come back from that. You're talking hearing aids and going on from there.
Yeah, it's like your eyes, really. You need to look after them.
100%.
Your eyes and your ears, you really need to look after. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine being deaf or blind.
I would hate
Like
it.
the people who do
hate
deal
it.
with it, I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
amazing.
well done. Like,
Amazing. I think it's hard when it happens later on in life as well, and you've experienced half your life with all those senses, and then
yeah,
for whatever reason it happens. That must be so hard.
yeah. I couldn't imagine. I think seeing, if I couldn't see, would be worse for me.
Yeah,
If I
wouldn't
couldn't
like
see
that.
again,
I wouldn't like
once
that.
I'd already seen, and then I'm an overthinker massively.
Yeah.
So I'd be like thinking, like, what's changed, what hasn't changed, what do people look like, what do things look like?
Yeah, it can't be easy.
Because that's a bit the same as my thought of dying. I'm afraid of dying, and it's probably because I'm a bit selfish. But the world carries on without me,
Afraid so, mate.
and I think that's the same. It's probably the same sort of feeling to if I lost my sight. Like that's why I'm scared to die. I'm like, think of the things that are gonna happen.
I don't think people
when I
aren't
die.
scared to die though. I think most people are scared to die. I don't think.
The fear of dying, as long as I die quick,
Yeah.
the fear of dying is okay. But it's just that thought of once I'm gone, things carry on. Like what will I miss? Like my granny, my granny, she missed the iPhone.
Yeah.
She missed, I don't know, things that have big things that have happened in technology advances, or this is going on now.
Yeah.
And you think they missed it. Like
It's the people that are left behind. I think that it's not. I don't necessarily have a fear of. I think there is obviously some fear of dying. There has to be. I think you've never done it before, and most people are scared of things they haven't done before, which is totally acceptable. But I think it's when you start thinking about it that the people that you leaving behind, how hard it would be for them.
yeah.
Once you're gone, you're gone. That's it. It's not hard for you anymore. If anything, it's easier. For the guys you've left behind, that's where it's hard. They're the guys that suffer.
Did you ever have that thought when you were in the military?
I don't know that I did, you know.
So I know you were younger. Like, what
yeah, I
age did
don't
you
know.
join the military?
Please check out waxandrelax.co.uk. They smell amazing, and they're handmade, they're handcrafted by the people who sell them. We've got one pumping in the studio right now, just behind the camera, and it smells beautiful in here. You think it was some sort of a beauty parlour. And you can get them at www.waxandrelax. Double X on the relax, guys, because it's just double the amount of relaxing when you get these bad boys flowing.co.uk, sponsor of this podcast.
19. I was 19.
Till
26, 27.
so 19, 26. Between that age, you wouldn't really have that thought, would you?
I don't think, not that it made any difference to me, no. I think, especially when you're that young, that sort of age in the army, you get a bit cocky, and nothing's real. I think very similar to what's happening right now. It's not real unless it's happened to you.
Yeah.
So unless you've been directly affected by it, people die on the news every day, but you know it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a good thing either, but it happens. Whereas when you're in a situation where it could happen to you, I think that's why, in a lot of ways, the army's good, because it trains you not to think like that. You're not moving around in Afghan, for example, moving around the ground thinking, holy shit, like, I'm going to get shot, I'm going to die. Like, you're there, confident, you get trained really, really, really well.
Cocky or confident?
I think there's a fine line. I think there's a very fine line.
Just rocking around like 19. I can imagine 19, 20-year-olds that
Yeah.
this ain't gonna happen to me. Like bowling around, just thinking, this won't happen. Bam, bam,
But
like we're
I
in a
think
movie.
that's probably one of the better ways to be, though, because if you're
Scared,
if you're,
yeah.
I mean, I think people are still scared. I think there's that sort of saying without fear there could be no courage, and I think that's massively applicable to the military. Guys are scared to go, but they know it's sort of their duty and like I said, the training is so good, and you're more going for the people that you're going with. Like everyone say, the military's a family. It absolutely is true. You work with the guys, you live with the guys. They are like your brothers, and you want to protect them.
Yeah.
So you doing your job, certainly the job that I was doing, will help someone else. Will massively help someone else.
So yeah, for the listeners and the viewers, well, let's get into what job you did. So my question, a lot of people will run away from explosions, guns, and just going into the military. You're not running away from that, you're going towards it. But you yourself were going to find it.
Yes.
And that in my mind doesn't sound correct. Like, there's a bomb, it could explode.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go find it. Like, there's not a murderer running around in the street and I'm going to be like, let's go find it. Like...
Yeah, but it's easy to think that. I mean, I actually remember when I actually volunteered to go. We were on a little construction tour, Beerstead, for any of you that remember. And they were just like, right, does anyone want to go to Afghan, basically? And me and my mate were just like, we want to go. So they say never volunteer for anything. They're probably right, because then later on we found out that that's actually what we were going to go and do, be part of a Royal Engineer search team.
So what were you doing before that then?
Royal Engineers do a bit of everything. Construction, DEMS. I mean, day to day, not a great deal. You have sort of little deployments going on, exercises, training.
So like if a bridge needs building or...
Yeah, kind of. That's more sort of exercise role. Day to day on camp, you might be doing, lessons, tidying up the camp, moving stuff around, that kind of sort of generic stuff. And then they obviously plan things
and
week to week.
It was that easy. I'll go, sir.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hand up.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, it was actually that easy. And then I got sort of put with a little team.
Like at school, there's a brawl in the playground. It's your mate. I'll go.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Why not? I mean, I was totally in the mindset that was sort of happening thick and fast, all the Afghan stuff. And when I actually got to my unit, I think it was about 3 days, and everyone left to go to Afghan, and I didn't go. And that was one of the worst things. Like, so I sort of went through the first 6 or 7 months without even really getting to know anyone, apart from the new guys.
Yeah.
So then when everyone came back, it wasn't really that easy to integrate with everyone. They've all got this shared experience. And then, like, it was a little bit of a divide. Obviously, it went pretty quickly. But certainly didn't join the army to sort of shy away from that kind of thing. Thought it'd be exciting. It was exciting, to be fair.
What was your reason for joining the military?
Pretty basic, to be honest. So genuinely, I was working in just a little factory just down the road from where I lived. Got to about 19, 18, and I literally woke up one day and I thought, what am I doing with my life? Like, I'm just wasting it. And my brother was in the army as well. When he come back with stories, he'd tell me all these good things that he's been doing.
Let's just put a pin in that there. Your brother. Let's drop this bomb on there.
Let's do it.
How many of you? How many brothers?
2 brothers.
How many sisters?
4 sisters.
So yes, guys, that is 6 of them. 6. I'm doing math.
6 and an older sister.
6.
Yeah.
And they all came out at near enough the same time.
3 minutes apart. Yeah.
So you are Britain's only second sextuplets.
Second sextuplets, yeah.
So guys, it's a Coffee with Sam podcast exclusive, and I'm probably never going to have this again, and no one in the UK is probably ever going to have. I've got someone in my studio who is part of a sextuplet, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, Stuart Coleman. And what was how do you find it? The story of. I found it on the internet.
I think Coleman sextuplets is a good search.
Coleman sextuplets.
Yeah.
And you find this bad boy on there.
You will find
and when he told me, guys, I didn't believe him either. I had to go and search it.
Me. No one. You find that? I think that's so weird. That's quite a lie, isn't it?
Like you say, when it happens to you.
Yeah.
Until it happens to you, you don't believe it.
Yeah.
Quads is the one. Like quads, no chance. But
crazy.
And it was natural, right?
No, it wasn't natural. Absolutely not.
I was hoping that was giving a cream of the crop, like just bomb it in there.
Since I've had my girls, I totally appreciate how they coped. Like, I mean, I don't really know how they coped. I've got 2, just.
You got a recent newborn, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
5 weeks.
All healthy, mom, baby,
healthy?
Yeah,
all right, tired.
Awesome. I bet.
Exhausted is probably a better word. It's hard work. It is hard work with 2 kids, but I think I hope it would only get easier as time goes on. But obviously I'll get a break go to work. Whereas Leah, girlfriend, is a bit of hero, struggling through every day.
Yeah, the mums are really, aren't they? They are the.
I think so.
They are the hero. They hold it. They give birth to it.
Yeah.
And then they have to. They not have to, but they take that pressure post birth for quite a while until, because they don't want to let go. The baby don't want to let go, and
Yeah, it's hard.
I've got all that to come. All that growing
It's
up.
good.
and
It's
stuff.
amazing. It's amazing, but it's hard.
All that growing up.
You'll get there.
So yes, you were sextuplet. I completely forgot about that, to be honest. I don't know why that was not in one of my questions. I can't believe that was not in one of my questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'll forget myself. It's just normal.
Until you're at a party.
That was a very sort of very favourite question for a lot of people when they come to see us, sort of news people and people like that. What's it like being a sextuplet?
Yeah, you're on the TV and all sorts, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been on a few things. Yeah, Blue Peter and things.
Oh yeah. It's like he's famous.
You know.
Your mum did all the hard work, all right?
Yeah, absolutely did. I still, it amazes me.
Do you think how she carried? Yeah, you said your missus with one. She had 6.
Yeah. She must have. It must have been so
Look like
hard.
she's got one of them exercise
You can
balls.
just change them,
Shoved up her t-shirt.
feed them, anything normal. Going to have a shower. How do you even do that?
Probably had some earphones like this.
Well, you can't put them anywhere.
Probably had earphones like this
Yeah,
and
must
just
have
put
done.
them on the bed.
Earplugs more like.
She have cushions all over the floor.
It
If they
just
fall off,
must
they
have
fall
been-
off.
It must have been so hard.
I bet,
hard.
yeah. And your dad, he was all right, like dealt with it all, or was it pressured, or?
Dad was in the police actually, so I think that sort of is pretty close to military
I
discipline.
was gonna say, yeah.
Um,
Deal with it, woman.
But my dad, I mean, we moved to Cheltenham when we were 3. My dad was in the Met, in the police, so he was there until we were like 10. So really, it was just my mum. And I said, I've got an older sister as well. She was looking
7 of
after
you.
7 kids on her own.
And I probably only wanted 2, right?
Just 2, yeah. Had one. Thought, we'll give this one a little brother or sister.
6.
Sorry, guys, there's 6 in there.
That backfired.
Massively. So, yeah.
So in the military, you're 19. You put your hand up.
Yeah.
Hand up in this. You're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You look around. One of your friends has said, yeah, let's go. You're sent out there. You find out. Do you know what you're going to? So I tell you, you're training as an engineer. Is that how it works, or you just train? You just train in the military and then you go where they put you, or
join the army as an engineer. Do your basic training. Everyone does basic training. Then you go into your sort of specific role training.
Yeah.
So combat engineer training. Did that for a few weeks, and then engineers have specific trade training. So it's actually a bricklayer, concreter by trade, and then you can sort of specialise on top of that. So obviously I went into search, and that's vast amount of training specifically for that, let alone deployment, because you do exercise after exercise, training after training. It's drummed into you, so it becomes second nature, and it literally does become second nature.
So then you're 19. You find out now that you've been deployed, or you're being deployed, right?
Well, to be fair, I was probably more like 21-ish by the time I
21.
22 maybe.
But
by
being
the time
a
I was
Royal
20.
Engineer, you could go out there to do anything.
Yeah. Engineers go out. You would go out there all the time to do sort of field fortifications.
So you went out there and ended up. When was that dropped on you that you were going to go looking for things that go boom?
Straight away, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, straight away.
Then did your hand do this?
No, I was just like, why not? Just do it. Why
Slowly just dropping your hand like, oh yeah, ha 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 ha.
not? It seemed like I said, quite an exciting thing, and I don't think you really think much more than that. Like, yeah, I mean that sounds really good. I'll go and do that. But then once I start getting into it, and you're like, well, shit, I'm actually gonna go and look for some bombs now. But then, like I said, the training and stuff is absolutely world class, and you're just not thinking it.
Yeah, just doing your job.
And then obviously it's something I think it's in my nature. Like I want to be. That's definitely something that I wanted to be good at, and I think I was pretty good at it. It came quite well to me. I picked it up really well. I actually remember my first search when I was deployed. I think now about it as well, and it outside of a camp, if you want, there was just a big area that they needed cleared, and unusually it was actually concrete. So there's me walking. I was at the front, volunteered to be at the front. There's me walking along with metal detector, like really every step perfect arc, doing it by the book as you're supposed. And I look back on it and think, well, it's actually concrete, so there's not actually going to be anything there because you can't dig into concrete. So I know it sounds weird. I'll just look back in that and I just laugh. to what I was like at the start to what I was like at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, the other guys in the team were exactly the same. They would just look.
Oh yeah,
at
overthinking everything
Massively
when you're
overthinking
first doing it.
massive because
Yeah,
especially if you're at the front,
because you knew.
there's 10 people behind you at least
Yeah.
that have got to walk where you walk. So you need to be sure of yourself.
So how does an exercise go down? Like literally they're picking is it a bit of road or an area or a village and
Could be any of the above. It's different drills for sort of each scenario. So you train in all of them.
Okay.
There's
And you get deployed, not deployed. You get sent in. Okay, this is what we're going to do.
yeah.
Is it then you have a plan, tactical team? Is there more than one team, or are you all one?
There's always a plan. Always a plan. So you'll get sort of tasks. So an infantry call sign might want to utilise an area, go into a building. They're not sure if it's safe to do so. They create what's called a cordon. So they'll find out around the area. They'll send us in. We'll search the area. Maybe they're looking for something specific. So they will task us. Our officer, the guy in charge of us, will write a brief, a plan.
Yep.
Filter it down to us. We'll go and execute said plan. And it literally is as simple as that.
And how does that go down? Like, so you're in this vast area, desert. There's a few houses, a few things. Like you're going into let's say a village in the desert.
Hard, much harder in the visit. More places in a village, even more, many more.
And are you doing the search for what's around, or are you literally? Is it okay? This is where the bomb could be. That's what we're going to search for.
A little bit of both, I think. A little bit of both. If the guys want to move through a village, and it's suspected that there has been, the enemy, if you want, there, we're searching a road and just off the road, so it's safe for us to travel through. So it's job specific, purposely for what the other guys want to do, basically.
So then, do you have a team looking after you, or do you?
Definitely.
Do you learn combat? Like you learn to fire your own weapon? Do you have a weapon?
Yeah, absolutely have a weapon. Yeah, we had a sidearm as well. So again, I was at the front. It's
like holding a gun.
It's easier. You think that, but it's heavy for one. And because we had people protecting us, it wasn't safe for us necessarily to fire. If we were fired upon, it wasn't safe for us to necessarily fire back. That wasn't our job. We had all the guys we worked with were absolutely amazing. They would, like I said, fan out either side of us, and they would basically protect us because of what we were doing. And the Taliban base had such a high success rate with IEDs. We were an asset, and they knew that. So we were shot at a few times.
Okay. So you've been shot at?
Yeah, a few times.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. We can't shoot back because our guys are there, basically.
Yeah.
So they're shooting in. Maybe it will get through to us. But if we shoot back, we've got a chance of hitting our guys, and obviously that's not what we want. So we would just have to dig into the ground, get as low as you can, wait for the guys to sort the situation, and then we've go back and carry on.
What's that like being shot at?
At first, really scary. Really scary.
Like, say, 19, 21, 22-year-old kid. I got this, I'm brave.
I think
you finally get that.
Yeah. You're expecting it, I think, all the time. It is scary at first, again, because I've never been shot at before.
That's what I mean. Like, you think it's like anything. You think you know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, you think you know what you're going to do.
And then even if you've been in the range, like you said, you've been in a range and you've shot.
Yeah,
it's not
loads of times.
Shot at. Like if we were sat here now, and someone just shot for the window and hit the wall.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could have time to panic.
Yeah,
it'd
you
be
don't
more
know
of
how
a.
you're gonna react.
I think it'd be more of a. Oh my god! Like to think about that's a bullet. Like what was that first time like? Have you ever had a near miss?
Yeah, no, a couple. Not that near, but a couple close, I think.
Your boys were good looking after you.
Yeah, really good. Really, really good. Like I said, you don't necessarily know how you're gonna react, but it's drummed into you how to react to it. Straight away, get down. That's your first instinct. I think it's avoiding the instinct to run.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do.
What was your feelings the first time?
Just get as low as I can.
You were shot at.
Get as low as I can. Just get down.
Did you cry a little bit inside?
No.
I think I would have done.
No, I don't. It's not really like that. It's not like that.
I think I'd have done a little wee.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
I'd done a little wee, like. Oh.
Lots and lots of training. Really, really good training.
Because there's my fear of the world's going to carry on without me.
The world will carry on, unfortunately.
Don't shoot me, man. The world's going to carry on.
Like I said, we had industry call signs around us were absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have asked.
Did you have to wear like helmet? Body,
full gear, body armor.
Did you ever have to have that bomb suit, them full bomb suits on?
No, because that's sort of a different team that does that. That's we were just looking for the bombs, and then once we've found or we think we've found something,
so they could still go off though, right?
They can still go off. Yeah, absolutely.
And you get,
however,
you get a little bulletproof vest.
Pretty big.
Because you're looking for it.
Yeah.
But because
again,
they're
training. It's all about training.
I suppose.
If you're doing your job right, then you shouldn't have any issues. So we would identify the device or suppose the device, dress back, call in the other guys. Yeah. The other guys have got the tough job because he's actually got to dig it up and do something with it.
Ugh.
That's the tough job.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine. Like
they get, they're absolute heroes.
Like, there's a bomb under there. We don't know how it's been made.
Yeah.
We don't know what pressure's going to set it off. What traps are there to set it off. But you're going to dig it up.
Again, training.
No wonder they're rocking that Michelin Man suit.
You don't just cut around in that suit all the time. You'll never be able to
no,
move.
no.
That's
but
just
still,
for like specific.
no wonder they rock up in that.
Yeah. I mean, it would still hurt, I think, if something went off.
Still going through your feet, yeah.
But yeah, they're the guys. They kind of deal with the device, blow it up in where it is, remove it. A lot of the time they do remove it, and then that's sort of future training. Show the other guys this is the sort of thing that they're planting.
Yeah.
Because they kind of went from metal devices, all metal, relatively easy to find, big cooking pots, saw blades, to no metal devices.
Oh.
And that was very challenging.
So you're looking. What are you looking for? Are you looking for, I don't know, is it like Home Alone? Are you looking for booby traps and whatever? Or what are you looking for? Like
everything.
Because they're clever, aren't they?
Very clever. I think people think that they're not clever, but they've been doing this for a long, long time. They're good at what they do. And for the resources that they have, they use them really, really well. They're not just chucking them willy-nilly. They're putting things in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, utilising the assets that they have. But we are aware of that. As they are aware of us, we are aware of the things that they're doing as well. So we can sort of counteract that by, without getting into sort of specifics, we know that if we have a device that will block signals so they can't detonate a device with a phone, for example, or if it's run off a cable, you know, you see on, they light the fuse at one end.
Yeah.
You see on
Looney Tunes.
Similar to that, but we might sort of go round first, and then deal with that, so it makes it a little bit safer. And then we've obviously got dogs and things like that, which are absolutely incredible. We know what we're doing, and I mean this is a few years ago now. Now our capability is absolutely incredible.
So what would you do? Not once you found it, but to find it. Like how? What?
So I think, apart from
surely you're not just walking around kicking dirt and looking like a dude on the beach.
Apart from the metal detectors you've got in your hand, I think your mind and your eyes are your next best sort of tools, because if you're walking down a straight road and there's a massive rock,
I've just got visions of just you in a pair of shorts with a metal detector.
Yeah.
John, I think I've got something.
Yeah.
Come over here.
No, so, not much more.
Pair of shorts, t-shirt.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
And someone catches a wire on their foot and go, yeah, I think I found it. Don't move.
Yeah. No, it's a little bit more technical.
What's the most technical thing you've seen? Like you've come across something, or have you come across something when were you there? Because you were there a few years back now.
Yeah.
Were you when there was maybe the first thing like, whoa, we've never seen that before?
Yeah. When they stopped using metal in the IEDs and started using carbon rods from batteries, can't pick it up with a metal detector. That happened sort of halfway through the tour, so we had to change the equipment that we were using to try and pick it up. That was pretty tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Clever, really, really clever.
It's because it's the vision we get of people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be,
I think it is.
Racist here, but
yeah.
the vision we get of people, just these people out in these deserted countries with no money, no resources, no nothing. But that's when you could become clever.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got technology, so
really,
you've got to be as good as this microphone here, but without having the microphone.
Yeah.
Or like your podcast has got to sound just as good, but when you see people like when they make sound deadening and booths out of pillows and stuff, you know what I mean?
Out of nothing, yeah.
Yeah, it's got nothing and try and make something just as good as it.
Yeah, they're really, really good, really clever.
Did you ever feel like you were being watched?
All the time.
Is that not weird?
You get used to it.
You keep
Like
saying this.
everything,
You
you get
keep
used to
saying
it.
this. You get
Yeah,
used
but
to it.
this is it's kind of probably sounds really cocky to say, but after the first couple of times getting shot, it becomes quite annoying. Mostly because you can't shoot back for one.
All right, gangster.
But-
Gangsters do.
Yeah, I
like,
know,
Peaky Blinders,
I know exactly what it sounds like, but when we're
I'm
getting
bored of being
shot,
shot at now.
we have to stop what we're doing, and if we've got 10 miles of road to search, it takes a long time, and we don't always have the capability to watch that area at night time. So we could go back, we could go home, they could plant another device. So there's no guarantee, there's no assurance. Because after we've been there, that's the assurance that it's safe to go over into that area. So you start getting shot at, fired upon, you're like, just get down, and come on, guys. We want to keep going. We want to keep doing our job.
Yeah.
But we know that we can. And then especially if they, like I said, if they don't have anyone overwatch at night time, we have to come back and do that again.
Oh, is that not?
So that delays the next guys as well.
Oh, dude, you're looking for a bomb that could explode whilst people are watching you.
It's
That thought of eyes being on you, like I just. Eyes that want to hurt you too. They want to see you blow up. They're probably sat there,
No,
like,
absolutely,
putting
yeah.
bets on
all
with
of
each
us,
other.
to all of us, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hello, Harley, you want to put the 10 pound? Oh, that's not even the good
That's a
accent.
terrible
But
accent. But yeah,
I got £10 that this one blows up. I'm not
We
going
used
to do an
to-
accent. Like, oh my god,
We used to sort of
I kill you.
you can see them, and that's a good thing.
You can.
You know, they can see us, we can see them as well.
That's
So
weird.
if they are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, then they'll soon get stopped.
That's weird.
Why is it weird?
You know, you can
That's
see
their
them.
job. It's exactly the same what we're doing our job. That's their job. He's a watcher. He's supposed to be getting intel on us. That's his job.
So you're just peeking at each other.
But
And
then
you
you
know
might-
each other are peeking at each
You
other.
might go into like a village where there's 30 people there. You can't just stop. You have to just keep going. There's other people there to protect you, so they do their job while we do our job. You have faith in the people around you, 100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You have bodyguards, and then you put the trust in the
I wouldn't
bodyguards.
never say bodyguards, but yeah.
Come on, they're bodyguards.
We had
I'm not
teammates.
downgrading the job you were doing.
No,
but you
no,
had
no.
bodyguards. Come on.
To a certain extent, yes.
You had to
but
drop to the ground. You got looked after by some savage nutcases that wanted to just stand up to bullets. You had bodyguards.
They're just really good at infantry guys are really, really good at their jobs.
What's the infantry? Is that what they do? They protect.
Yeah, the fighters for want of a better
That's what
expression.
infantry means.
That's what they get trained to do, and they're really, really good at it. We couldn't do our job without them.
bodyguards.
Not bodyguards. Just like heroes, because they're taking the flak for us, basically.
Well, you could go bang.
Yeah, but it's unlikely if you're doing your job right.
Please check out waxandrelax.co.uk.
Yeah, I suppose. What was your scariest moment? How many tours have you done, actually? Let's get how many tours have you done?
Just the one tour of Afghan. I've done
How long were you there for?
6-7 months. I've done like construction tours and been to Kenya and little places like that. But
And do you feel like that fulfilled what you thought about the military and
I think I would have gone again.
what happened?
Just didn't get the opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's weird, because you hear of people, like, for years, they're doing every tour under the sun,
Yeah.
and some, like, really struggle to leave. Like, I just want to leave the military now. And obviously you can't. You can't just up and leave, can you?
Not easily, no.
But you get that one, but then you get that one and you want more, but you don't get it. Like,
I think you'll be surprised about the amount of people that actually want to stay there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
as in,
so.
like,
I think you'd be surprised.
there's not as many.
I think there's quite a lot. Because you're doing the same thing.
I had a friend
6
who
months.
he worked. Yeah, he did quite a few tours,
Yeah.
and he had to. He got court-martialed not to go to prison because he left without being told he could leave.
There's definitely a line.
I think he got a bit of. He won't mind me saying that. I don't even think he listens to this, but he had a bit. It got to him,
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
and he came
People have
home
much
and
harder times
didn't
than
want to go back.
me. Yeah.
Told his family that he'd been released, and the old military police knocked on the door and said, "You come with us, mate."
Yeah. I think this is the thing here about a lot of guys that suffer with PTSD and that kind of stuff, and it makes you realise that although I think I had a bit of a hard time, other people had a much harder time than me.
It's because you have bodyguards.
It's because I have bodyguards. Yeah. it's hard, especially doing multiple tours. It does affect you. You see some stuff that you don't necessarily want to see, but you just look at it and then look away, and then you carry on doing it. Like doctors and nurses, to a certain extent, you kind of just become numb to it.
Right now, like they're doing now.
Yeah.
Doctors and nurses just, you probably speak to them, they're like, yeah, it's normal.
That's
all
their
in
job.
a day's work.
That's their job, yeah.
All in a day's work. And that's what Alex, she says she hates it because she was getting messages, and she keeps getting messages and things sent to the house saying like, keep going, blah blah, and she's just like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
And then she feels a fraud because she's not actually doing her job, because she's not on the front line as such, but she still has to go to work and still has to look after people who could have it, so she's forced to be faced with what's going on. So a bit further on down, like you, like the infantry would probably say you're a hero, but they probably say, like you say, they're heroes.
Absolutely.
Like everyone always respects the other one in the line.
Yeah, I think and I think that's a good thing. I think that's only a good thing.
So what was your scariest story moment, like, of being in the military, being out in there?
Couple of probably scary moments. The first one would probably be, I went to clear a road. We were just searching down the road as you were. Found, actually that was actually my first find of the tour. I was kind of the last one in the team to find something, so weirdly enough I was absolutely buzzing about it. Found this, I guess, scary.
I just keep getting these visions, just jumping around the desert going, I found a bomb, I found a bomb. I was
genuinely really...
they're like, Stu, we need to... I
was really happy about it. I was genuinely really happy about it.
I bet, mate. Well, that's what you're trained to do. Like you say, it's not a bomb to you.
No, it's not.
You're like
really,
a sniffer dog.
No,
like a sniffer dog looking for something. You've done your job because that's what you've been trained to look for.
Yeah. So found this device, dressed back. We went and had a smoke and had a little chill while the other guys dealt with the device. Blew it in situ. And then in your mind, you've got, well, the area around that would probably be pretty good, because if there was something close to it, it would have gone off when the first device went off.
Yeah.
So you feel pretty confident to not search. I'm definitely not saying that, but sort of, you could maybe quicken up the pace. Went back, literally took one step out of this crater. I don't even think it was one step, and I was like, I heard a little beep. And my foot I got my foot back, and I got my paintbrush out, dug out, and then there was something else there, which I think is really, really rare, because like I said,
so it could have gone off.
The explosive.
Stepped on it.
Yeah, that was pretty close. It was cool, like, but at the same time,
just waiting for the boom.
We went back again, and the OC of the infantry unit that we were there with actually came over to me and like shook my hand, said thanks. So although it was scary, like, that was really nice for him to do so.
Why? What? It was an accidental find.
You've potentially saved at least 2 people's lives by finding one.
Oh, that's the way they see it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice to get a thanks for your job, not just, wow, you're doing your job.
Yeah, I think so. I really appreciate that.
You're doing your job, but to get a thank you. And
I think a lot of people were very appreciative of us.
So that cocky 21-year-old was even more cocky.
Yeah, a little bit.
When he's got the boss like,
confident.
Great job, be like, back into the tent.
It was really nice.
Back into the tent.
Well, like anything,
a find and a handshake.
It's a team
all
effort.
in one day.
It wasn't just me. It was a massive team effort. I didn't do it. I just found it.
Yeah.
The other guys obviously had to deal with it. They got recognition as well as they deserve. Yeah, that was.
I bet he was nervous.
That was a little bit close.
Yeah, when you beep.
I thought about it afterwards.
Did you just
as well.
yeah. When you get obviously you got the adrenaline from finding your first find.
Yeah.
And then a beep. So then, like you say, you're taught to deal with what happens if you do find one.
Yeah.
So your adrenaline was probably like, whoa, another one. And then, like you say, you finally come down from that adrenaline and lay in your room, and you're just like, that could have gone bang.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't last for long, to be honest, because you're straight on to the next job and that. But you think about it for half a second, you think, wow, I mean, I was that far away from treading on something. I found a couple of things, and then I think it's best not to think about it too much, because you are that far away from potentially treading on something. Again, training comes in, but you're good at your job, and I was good at my job. I felt like I was good at my job, so it wasn't really an issue. But
do you think you had that thought of, we went back to the beginning when you had the thought of like about leaving people behind, and you never had that thought? Was that because you never thought you would die, or just because?
Yeah, I don't think anyone goes thinking, well, I'm not going to come back, so not really that worried about it.
Or do you think it's because you were a 20-year-old kid who at the time you don't really think you're leaving nothing behind. It's you and the world, really.
Probably a little bit of both. Single at the time, didn't really care. Obviously, family and brothers and sisters and now the tribe. But I certainly didn't think that I was going not to come back.
Team.
No, absolutely not. I don't think anyone does. I keep going on about the training, but the training is really good, and they just force it in there.
You're trained to think that you're going to go and come home. You're going to go and come home. You're going to go and come home.
It's just normal.
Yeah.
The things that you're doing are just normal.
Yeah.
Like a lot of found recently, just got a new job. They love that I'm ex-military because people that are ex-military, a lot of things just become timekeeping. That's not even a thing to me. Like, that's just normal to be there on time, to be somewhere on time. That couldn't be any more normal. To be late.
I said that just for the podcast. I looked at my watch. I was like, it's 5:02, and someone said, "Oh, I'll let you know if he's outside or not."
Yeah.
And I was like, "He'll be here at 8 o'clock." And they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because he's ex-military."
I hate being late.
I said, "He's ex-military, so he won't be here early and he won't be here late. He'll be here on time."
Yeah, if you're not there 5 minutes before, you're late.
You're late, yeah.
You're late. So
that was what I always said to my athletes.
Yeah.
I said to my athletes when I was coach, if you're here after 2:45, even though practice started at 7, if you're at 2:45, you're late. Because you still got your trainers on.
Absolutely.
You still got to get kitted up. You still got to go in.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think, like I said, those type of things that people have to try at, ex-military, military guys, that's just normal.
So it goes into your it goes into your
There's no effort
job.
There.
Yeah,
you just do it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of
and sticking to a plan,
like
sticking to
relaying instructions, being given instructions. I think there's a lot of things like that employers absolutely love.
Yeah, I think our military and maybe the US military, maybe I'd be happy. I'll say this now, I probably wouldn't be, but when you used to have to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that still goes on in other countries.
Yeah.
Because someone I work with is the reason why he fled his country.
Yeah.
Along other reasons. But fled his country because you're forced into the military until a certain age.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a nice military.
I don't think.
Well equipped, not nice to them,
yeah.
not well trained, it's a military, but it's not like our military or the US military. And I think it would be a good thing. And you do see that quite a lot of people who I've seen people at school that I'd have thought will either be in prison by now or not even here. And they've gone to the military, come back, it's completely different people. And it's because I do think it can be a good thing.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
I know it is getting easier in the army now, isn't it? Because of all laws and stuff like coming in.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with that either. I mean,
I had Josh on here who he I told you he felt like an imposter because he never actually got to do a tour.
Yeah.
But he was with the Royal Guards.
Guards, yeah.
What's it called? It's called a name. There's a name to it, but protected the Queen, all that stuff. Stood outside the castle and did all that stuff. He never actually got to go on a tour, and he hates it.
Yeah,
hates it. He hates it.
Everyone's got their job to do, though.
But he was saying, so now he's in the barracks up in, what would you say, down up in Yorkshire, that way. The barracks. Well, that about 4 hours.
Catterick, Cold
That's it. Catterick. Bang on, Catterick. And he's ended up a PT.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he thinks the one thing that has changed for the worse is the way you can't break people down and build them back up again as much as you used to, which is what used to help the military. Because, like you say, a lot of people start at 19 years old and they need to be broken down and then built back up again. And it's not a bad thing to be broken down to be built back up again.
Well, that's what they say. They break you and then they remake you.
Yeah.
Very rarely does it ever go wrong. Like, you will always come out better than you went in.
Yeah.
With more respect, more self-discipline, much more awareness of what's actually happening around you, not just a cocky little teenager, basically.
Yeah. And
I think it's hard for... Certainly, I mean, I wasn't in there that long, 8 years, and it wasn't that long ago, but the older guys, they had a really, really hard time. And then I think for them to see what it's like now, one of my best mates still a staff in Royal Engineers, and he actually said to me not that long ago that he said, I wouldn't like it now because it's just too easy. Yeah. People are just...
Which worries me.
Treated a bit too
Don't worry me, because I do feel we're getting into the age now where war won't happen.
Well, it's just sort of press the button a lot of times.
Press a button, money involved.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into what's going on at the moment. Is that war? Is that some sort of warfare?
Maybe.
We are getting to the point where we're not going to need the militaries. We're going to need them just to scare people. But it does worry me to think that it's getting easier.
To be honest, I think we'll always need the military, in some sort of way.
Just think that it's getting easier. It worries me that what are we being looked after by?
I think there's still a sort of level of class.
Yeah, yeah, I get that, but not as much.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And is this the big rise in PTSD because of it?
I don't think that is the case. I think people are just more aware of it now. It's always been there. I think, although a lot of things about the army have changed, maybe it is a bit softer, but mental health is a massive issue right now, and it has been for a little while now. Whereas 5-10 years ago, it was just weakness. Yeah,
I get that, but just seeing like if they're not broke down as hard to be built back up as much, they then go through the stuff they go through, to then come out of the military. If they weren't that tough because they hadn't been broken down in the first place.
Maybe
can affect them so much.
It's just specific to the individual, isn't it, I think.
You sound quite grounded and quite just invested in your job and not what was actually going on in the bigger picture. But have you had any effects once you left the military?
A little bit, maybe. I think not massively, but a little bit. One of my best friends actually died when I was on tour, and that affected me for a long, long time. Because I think you sort of plan things in that for when you get home, and then when those things come round and he's not there, that's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to actually deal with. But again, I had people around me, had a really good support network. My brother's in the army, as I said, so I was able to talk to him, and yeah, it was.
I don't want me asking how.
An ID.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And was he in your team?
Yeah, he was. He stood about 10 foot away from me.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So it was close to you, man.
Yeah. It was
How was that not your scariest moment?
Well, that was the second scariest moment. Again, normal sort of patrol.
Well, you were looking for it, or
looking for it. I was sort of at the front. He was just sort of off to the one side. Genuinely thought it was me that trod on something. Went straight down. Just looked, seeing him on the ground.
Fuck.
So straight away,
and it didn't get you?
No, it didn't get me. Well, that's why I had a perfect eardrum, but I'm really probably quite lucky as well. I could have easily been on that side. Again, I try not to think about this too much. I could have been on that side, and it could have been me, or I could have been on that side and I could have found it, and then he would have been fine. But like I said, I don't think that's a good thing to think about too much about. Searched over to him, did what we needed to do, got him medevac. Unfortunately, he died in a helicopter on the way back to Bastion. Really, really, really tough.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. Never going to forget it. I don't think anyone really will. But like I said...
But I know it's the wrong way to take such a somber thing, but does that make you the man you are today? Going through things like that?
Yeah, I think partly it does.
Does it make you hold things a lot closer to you and get rid of bad energy that you don't really need? You know what I mean? Losing something so close.
Yeah, I think I was pretty easygoing before, but I think that's when the sort of expression that life's too short actually becomes very, very apparent. So when I came back, it took me quite a long time to stop thinking about the bad things and start thinking about the good memories that we had together. Again, every once in a while it crops up. It was 10-year anniversary last year. I still speak to his mum. It was really, really hard, and I think that wasn't anything I was ever really aware of before. Like I said, mental health is a massive thing now, but even then, this is 2010. It wasn't such a they were bringing it in. It's nowhere near as aware as people now, but before that, slightly less. But that time, especially being in the army, I think, well, I maybe could have spoke about it a bit more, or I could have done this, I could have done blah, blah, blah. I just kind of kept it to myself to a certain extent, because I think you think, well, if you talk about it, then maybe people will think different of you, or maybe there is like a weakness thing coming in.
Do you think that could be a problem with a lot of PTSD and mental health in general, that people just don't talk?
100%. I think a lot with men as well, you've got that sort of macho pride. I think pride's a good word to explain why a lot of people don't talk about it, as well as it's my problem, it's not your problem. But then, and if I share that with you, then it does become your problem. And you don't want like pity or anything. It's certainly, like I said, when you're in the army, you're sort of the big I am, confident guy. I maybe just thought that would like bring me down a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. I know now we're absolutely ridiculous to think that, because I should have just, and I did speak about to people that I wanted to speak to about it. A lot of other people that had not been away, or maybe some friends and family, I didn't want to talk to them because how could they possibly understand?
Yeah.
But that's just one scenario.
Do you feel that may could have come from? Do you feel like, why not me?
Not anymore. I did for a little bit, but like I say, I don't think that's a good thing to think about.
No. But maybe that's why you were worried to speak about it. Macho man thing again, like people are thinking this, people are saying that.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Things if I was to start seeing things like that, then I'd maybe just think, well, that's taking something away from him.
Yeah.
And I would never do that. So I maybe thought about it for a few days or whatever afterwards. If we'd have done something different, then he might still be here. Or if he'd have been over to the left or whatever, anything like that, then it might not have been the situation that we're unfortunately in. But I think
you don't have to talk to people you don't think you want to talk to about it, because that's a big thing. Like when you said you were going to come and do this, I was so excited, and the reason why I was so excited is because of how much of a closed book you'd been. But you'd been a closed book to the other people, to the right people. Whereas when I started prodding, you were happy to slowly open up. Whereas the dude that randomly comes to you and said, "Well, you've ever shot anyone?" And you get one, the first thing you don't ask someone, and secondly, especially someone who might have lost somebody.
Yeah.
How do they know what you've gone through while you're at the military? It's not all bloody action, man. And
absolutely. And I think
games.
People don't think that, and they think that it's all shooting someone. How amazing would that be? Well, it's not. I mean, I have never shot someone, and I'm quite glad to say that I've never shot someone now. But I couldn't be even any more prouder to say that I've saved people's lives. And that's definitely what I would take away from that question. I don't think. I mean, I would have asked. I think I did even ask when I went to basic training, and I was like that person who asked me. I asked my force crew, "Well, have you ever killed anyone?" And he was like, "Don't ask me that." And as time went on, I totally appreciated why, because that's just not a nice question.
So now you kind of get why that lad asked it, but you're not going to open up to that type of person.
I don't really, to be honest, I don't open up to a lot of people.
Whereas I was intrigued, and that's why I do what I do, this, because I love it. And I've learned, when I speak to everyone, I take that to life. Everyone I speak to, I take something.
Yeah.
Something. There could be one thing in the next hour that I will take away, which is why I do the podcast, because then 10 people could take away, 30 people could take away. And there's things you've said to me today that will make me grow up, which will make me think, I might change my mind either positively or negatively about something, but it just makes me think.
And I think that's only a good thing. I thought about earlier that you were going to ask me questions like that, and I thought, well, maybe I just won't say anything. But then I think, like you've said to me things like that before, that someone's actually said that you've helped them. And I think that if my situation and me being the way that I am a bit of a closed book at the start, and trust is earned, certainly. It takes me a little while to open up to people, and that's not something that I tell people. Certainly that story is not something that I tell people. But like I said, going back to the mental health thing, that's such a massive issue now, and there'll be loads of guys out there, certainly ex-military guys, that have been through far worse things than me. And I think if you can share an experience like that and it helps one person, great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. And it's not something that I'm ashamed of, the situation that I was in.
Please check out waxandrelax.co.uk. They smell amazing, and they're handmade, they're handcrafted by the people who sell them. We've got one pumping in the studio right now, just behind the camera, and it smells beautiful in here. You think it was some sort of a beauty parlour. And you can get them at www.waxandrelax, double X on the relax, guys, because it's just double the amount of relaxing when you get these bad boys flowing.co.uk, sponsor of this podcast.
I'm not ashamed of how I dealt with it, and maybe it could have been better, but I'm certainly not ashamed of it. That is part of me now, and it will always be part of me. But talking about it, with people we've known, to be fair, we haven't actually known each other that long, like just now, but
we've got on people,
we've got a connection, and I think expressing yourself and opening up about things like that have been difficult in the past will not only help explain me, but might help someone else
Oh, 100%.
open up and talk about it.
100%. Like the imposter syndrome that Josh spoke about on his military one.
Yeah.
I think there'd be a lot of people that listen to that and think, well, I'm in the same boat, and there's not just me that's thinking that.
Absolutely.
And the other side of things, like the same with you, with a loss or the PTSD or the way they think about things after. Like I say, if one person can take away from that, which is why I do what I do. But I just love talking to people. And like I say, what you've said today, I will remember, and that could change me and how I react or how I think or how I approach something. Like maybe I'd have rocked up and said to someone, have you ever killed anyone before?
Yeah.
But you speak to someone, you tell me that story months ago, and I'm like, actually, well, now, what a stupid thing to ask someone.
Yeah, a little bit.
And how someone felt. But then as soon as you were a closed book, I was like, I want to get inside him then. That sounded quite sexual. And I wanted to get to know more, which was even worse for me, because I'm like that. That's my problem. It can go the other way though, which is why I feel, why I love doing this is I feel people want to talk to me. I might be wrong about that.
No, very easy to talk to.
I've always been the same. I always know if someone's upset.
Yeah.
Even if they're just sat there, you all right? Yeah. Are you? Yeah, no, I.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? And I don't want to. Come on. And I just know. I get a feeling. I can get a feeling that people just aren't all right.
Yeah.
And as soon as you were so close with that dude who asked that question, and then I was questioning you didn't really know me, and I was just slow with the questions, and I was thinking what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, like
and you
I
were
said,
very
it just takes a bit of
slow,
time. Takes a bit
very
of time.
slow, and I was like, he's got some stories to tell.
I have got some stories to tell, but I've been very, very lucky the people I've had around me.
Your bodyguards.
Not so much worried about it. At the time, the teams that I was working with, one of my friends, Mark, I don't know if I'd have done so well if he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Certain people, my brother,
you.
certainly my best friend, I don't know. And I think it's important to have, and it doesn't need to be a lot of people. Certainly doesn't need to be, even if it's only one person that you can talk to and confide in and just share something with that you're struggling with. It really, really helps.
Oh, 100%. That was, I don't know if you've probably not, but you're a very busy man, but the episode that I did with the mental health lad who's now turned his life around and wants to become a mental health ambassador.
Yeah, and that's
and wants
absolutely
to deliver
fantastic.
it. And he'd been in a point where his life had just got so much on top of him.
Yeah.
He was ready to end it. And then he realised that when people actually end their life, they're not them.
Yeah.
And he said, they are not them. And he turned that round of, well, I knew that I wanted to end my life, so I'm me, so I have control.
Yeah.
And he turned that negative round into it.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he could do that and speak about it was amazing. And he was saying that the turnaround point with him was he sat there having the thoughts, realised that he was himself still, and he knew that he wanted to end it, which then knew that he actually had some control over it.
Yeah.
Went and spoke to one person, and the upward slope went from there.
And that's all it takes.
Literally, upward slope. And he got better and better and better. And when I met him, he still wasn't fully, but you could tell.
Yeah.
But he was getting better and better and better. And all he did was spoke to one person. And then he was the same. He told me stories that day that I wasn't even ready for it. I literally wasn't ready for it. But same again, changed my life, because at the point I'd just lost my business due to what was going on in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was thinking my life was so bad. Well, guess what? It ain't that bad.
There's always someone's got a worse than
So I
you.
mean, I took from it because he told me that, and I just changed. Literally I left the studio thinking, I need to sort my shit out, because I ain't got it that bad.
No.
Like, he's just told me that he wanted to end his life.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking get over yourself, Sam. Get over yourself.
I think you do get wrapped up in things, though, in a sort of day-to-day life. Exactly that guy there, that someone's always got it worse than you. And I think, specifically, like, in the past, I wouldn't say that I had PTSD, and I wouldn't say that I had any kind of mental health issues whatsoever. But that doesn't mean that I didn't. Maybe it was only small, but I think because I feel like I dealt with it pretty well and had the opportunity to deal with it very well, and the people to speak to, it didn't.
That's it right there, isn't it? The people to speak to, the people to open up to, the people to be able to share, not take that on you, and they can either go, actually, yeah, that was quite bad, you should feel that way, or even no, you shouldn't feel that way. Like even if it's that, even it's saying you should feel that way.
Yeah.
It takes that weight of shouldn't I feel this way?
I think you just need, as well, guys might be watching this or experiencing themselves or have lost someone, that they now know that there is someone out there that's been through a similar experience than them, and they're, you know, a random person that they're seeing online. It's not, I'm just Stu. Like, I wouldn't say I've had a pretty good life. I think things have happened, but things have happened to everyone.
It's how you deal with it, right?
No one's had a good life. I don't think there is such a thing.
I did a post about it this week, saying I used to be someone who would get wrapped up.
Yeah. Well,
with the littlest things, and it would worry me for days, or my family would suffer because I would be worried about it.
Yeah.
And it now is to how I deal with that situation. Oh no, at work the other day, someone who listens to the podcast has literally rocked up to me and said the audio was shit last week. And I got ate up for about 3 hours about it. Like, you don't understand how much effort I put into this.
Yeah.
And then someone else then said to me, it was quite weird. I then spoke to someone about it. They then said to me, well, could you make the audio better? And I was like, well, yeah. He was like, well, there you go then.
That's it then.
Take it as a positive.
Yeah, 100%.
Take it that he's telling you need to be better, and you can be better.
I think anyone that's got the capability to turn negative into a positive is
and that's something I've had to change. And
being.
it was quite funny. My brother had anger problems when he was younger. I kind of maybe fell onto that. I was like, well, yeah, my brother's got it. And I would react so defensively, and I'd just use anger to react to it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, so that was maybe normal to
for
you at the time.
everything. And that's one thing that I have worked on, maybe the last 2 or 3 years, is to find a positive in everything.
I think you need to. Life is too short.
Yeah, definitely. To be
Make
wrapped
the
up
most of it.
with idiots and idiot comments.
Certainly from I've done loads of things that I wouldn't have done. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for what happened, but as you said earlier, it's made me now, and I'm just me. It's not made me who I wanted to be or who I am. It's just made me.
Yeah.
Through that experience, and again, it wasn't just me. It didn't just happen to me. It happened to a lot of people, and certainly his family who had it far worse than I did, and they're still dealing with that a lot worse than I am.
Yeah.
Like that, I've lost my friend, which is horrible, but to lose a son or a brother, and which unfortunately happened on a daily basis, and I think that's the sort of thing that you need to deal with in the military.
You say that like it's not as bad, but you were there, you were next to him.
Yeah, but sometimes I think that might be better. Not better, but like you've seen it, so you know it's happened. Whereas if you're thousands of miles away and you've just heard that it's happened, I think there's that sort of disbelief. I think the hardest thing is that probably a lot of guys in the military now, ex-military, will certainly agree that you don't really get to go to the funeral
because it happened so far away.
Because the body, I mean, you carry on what you're doing, and then obviously the body comes back and they have the funeral, but you're away, so.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the parents, the family. Sorry.
No. Like as I said, the body will get flown back through Bryce Norton and that, and then the funeral will happen back at home. But we were still working away. We had a few days off, and then we went straight back out on the ground, like get back into it rather than sort of dwell on it too much. So that was difficult. So when I came back, all the newspaper clippings and that my best mate saved, and I watched the visual and that was tough as well, and it kind of just came again. And I think it just takes a lot of things.
Is that a bit of closure though?
Funny enough, no, because you talk about loads of shit when you're on tour. I was going to buy a motorbike, that never happened. Things you're going to do, you plan things, holidays, etc., for like the next year. So the things that we planned that didn't happen, obviously when they came around, I thought about it again.
Yeah.
Like it got me down. Looking back, maybe there was a bit of like, I don't want to say depression. I don't really like to use the word depression, but in and around there, like it did make me sad. But then again, fortunately, I had the people around me. And then you move on, and like I said, now I don't look back and it is a negative. I don't look back at the memories that we have of just that one day. Like I look back at the times where we used to argue like husband and wife, such good friends, like the positives that the relationship we had before. Look at that, the good times that we had, which I think is a good thing to be able to do.
Yeah, I think, like you say though, it's the planning. It's like if you lose anyone close to you, it's that planning of what could have happened, which is like my fear of death. That stuff carries on.
Yeah,
you're that person. Like you said, it affects the people on the outside of you. you're the other side of that, where you're having to carry on without that person, and that's
it's harder for the people that are left behind. 100%.
I can understand where that it could get to you, because you had this plan, that plan, this can't happen be without that person, and but I think it takes a special kind of person to get through that, as well as his family that have got through it as well. A special kind of person to get through that, and same again to turn it into a positive. And like you say, there's probably things that you wouldn't have done in life, or said, or been undone, or I bet it creeps into your mind. Because I know with me, it would be with me, like, shall I do this? And it would be there. He never got the chance to. Well, fucking, I'm doing it then.
Yeah.
Or I might never get the chance to. I'm fucking doing that then, whatever.
There was actually a guy at work the other day that had a seizure.
Yep.
That kind of, and I was like the first person, or the second person there, to be fair, and kind of dealing with that situation. That brought up a little. So I went outside and had 5 minutes. That sort of brought a few memories back. It was really weird. I think it's just small things like that. But again, you turn it around. He was a great guy.
Not just that though, because like you say, I bet he was. Big shout out to him. I bet you, with you being, it's a professional person to not want to speak about it, but being the person you are, keeping it closed up, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think I don't. It's not.
It's gonna happen.
When things
like
happen to you, I don't. It's like it's not. When things happen to you about the army, you hear people telling you all these war stories and bragging about things that they've done.
It's never done. Never happened.
I'm not saying it's never done, but it's the people that don't really talk about it because they don't want to talk about it. Like, it's not at the time, certainly much closer to the time, it wasn't anyone else's business. Yeah. And all that stuff is happening. Like you said, when you die, the world goes on. When you're away, people do. I'm not saying people don't care, but the world goes on. Yeah. And when you get back, and it's not consuming other people, like it's consuming you. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
They're just going their normal. Let's go shopping. Let's go do this.
I'm like, well,
I missed you, love you, and you're
just gone through all this.
Yeah.
And again, people like much worse than me.
I'm glad you did speak about it though, because it probably something that could affect people, which where a lot of PTSD and stuff probably comes from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a story of a man who everybody who, this is not a racist comment, everybody who wasn't white, he would get angry, like naturally, like, and he had to have a lot of help, and he used to break down because he didn't want to feel like that, but because he'd been attacked by foreign people for so long, that was just ingrained in him, and he didn't get help, hadn't got help from it. And I think, is that a bad thing after the military? Do you just get let go and that's it, or do you get looked after? Do you get help?
More help now.
Mm-hmm.
More help now. It's sort of more apparent and more people are aware of it. 'Cause like I said before, back in the day, it was just weakness.
It was actually in the paper. That story was actually in the paper.
Yeah.
It was local. And just where he was shopping out or whatever, he could just have this trigger and just lose it, literally lose it.
I'm sure it's probably things. Well, I'm definitely sure that's quite common. Sort of things like that's happening. Boys in the military, girls in the military, they're dealing with a lot of horrible shit. And depending on how long you've been in, like I said, back in the day it was nothing. It wasn't a thing. Mental health wasn't a thing. Like, if you're struggling, you're weak.
Yeah. And
that was pretty much it. So
to talk about it's weak.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Or you have like banter about it, or you just make a joke about it, and so maybe that helps some people. But it wasn't really the opportunity to express yourself or get it out there, apart from to your little group. And if all your little groups dealt with the same thing, they're probably having the same issues that you're having.
Yeah.
But it's all, again, that weakness thing, which is now even more so, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Care and sharing.
Oh, definitely. And that's the one thing I do love about. I hate that it's ended up being a. Well, it hasn't actually. So I don't hate it. That was a lie. I like that it's being brought to the forefront.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a bit of a. It's getting cool to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't go the wrong way, where too many people are screaming mental health when it's not mental health.
Yeah, and I think that's
because it's cool to scream it.
Yeah, that's the issue with a lot
But
of things.
I do like it that it's comfortable for people to now express.
Yeah.
I did it when I was vlogging when I lived in America, and I did a video talking about Alex that she'd been, and then she'd gone, and I literally did a video after dropping her off, and I was just talking about blah blah blah, and I just burst out crying.
Yeah.
And I and shall I keep it in the video? And I kept it in the video, and then I posted it on Instagram, and the amount of people I got saying like, "Oh, you're so brave, you're so this, you're so that," for crying. Why? It's like, 'cause I'm a man. I'm a man crying because my girlfriend's gone home.
There's nothing wrong with crying.
Like, well, now my fiance.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that was the stigma behind it.
Yeah,
And I think
100%.
even in 2 years, it's changed. That people would be like, okay, well, like that's sick. Well done for standing up. Not it was just so like, and I was like, I didn't put it on there for that. I put it on there for you to see me crying, like,
Yeah, it's normal.
because people cry and men cry.
Yeah, everyone cries.
And so I am happy that it is coming more to the forefront of people's minds, and it's becoming more comfortable to talk about. And I hope it gets more. So military personnel, security personnel, prison personnel, NHS personnel. We'll talk about it. My best friend, he's had times in the prison service that, and he's a man. I won't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I have to do my little prodding. Come on, because he's my security, and he's the hard one out of the two of us, and he's the tough man. So I'll cry on his shoulder, but he won't cry on mine because he's the man. And I'm like, tell me, come on, and I have to.
That
Cry,
goes back to, like I said,
cry.
he probably doesn't want to tell you because then that becomes your problem. So although it's not necessarily the right way to go, he believes his wholeheartedly that he's doing that for you.
Yeah. No, he's not.
Good guy, like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm a good guy. But I don't know. I think it's that tough guy persona.
Yeah, and everyone probably thinks that about him.
Because
so
he
refuses.
he refuses to go to the help at work.
Yeah.
They've got what little help they have,
Yeah.
which I think is next to none in nearly every, like the military. I might be wrong, but I feel like it's not there enough. I feel like it should be the first thing you get when you come home, first thing you get when you leave, first thing you get like NHS.
Now you do.
NHS, you have it. The security service, the prison service, they should have it. Like it should be on lock whenever you want it or whenever you don't want it. Because when you don't want it is when you're actually worse.
Yeah.
When you want it, it's normally someone like who's, oh come on, I need a bit of pat on the head to say I'm okay. When you don't want it is when it's the problem. I feel when you're hiding away from it and saying I don't want help.
The thing, certainly in the military, it's an issue now. There's a trim course, so guys that have been through similar experience to you go on a course like it is a mental health awareness course, as it were, and then you get the opportunity to talk to them. Again, you don't necessarily have to, but you can if you want to. This is 10 years ago now, a little bit less than that. So it is an issue now. It is a thing now, and I hope that kind of spreads out. Certainly, like the NHS, what they're dealing with now, is far worse than what a lot of other people are dealing with, and that's massively out of their sort of not area of expertise, but massively out of their like scope. They'll never have to. Well, I hope they'll never have to do anything like this again. Yeah. But it's going on and on and on, and they're just amazing. I think how they're dealing with it.
Yeah, they don't get much training. I had an ITU doctor on, ITU doctor, sorry, on the podcast. And a month after she'd been in ITU, she was one of the first doctors to react to the first wave, and they had about 2 weeks training, if that.
It must be tough.
Didn't know how to put the gear on, and literally same again. Until it happened to them, they didn't. It won't happen.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Boom, night shift. There was only 2 of them on shift. Got their first call. Putting this gear on, they didn't really know what they were doing. Is it on properly? Is it not on properly? I don't want to catch it. This person's actually really bad. Oh my god, it's actually real. And getting forced into it. And it's very lucky she's someone who likes to talk. So I'd say it probably doesn't affect her as much as some people.
Yeah.
But I do feel that needs to be there for people. In all those services, what do you call them, the national services, what are the NHS, the army, the security
all the emergency services.
All the emergency services.
Absolutely.
I feel like it needs to be up here in priority now, as soon as they come out, just to make sure, just to stop all this, the suicides and all that stuff, and just to like you say, to be in that line of in that role of job, in that line of work, you're tough, and that's where people struggle to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're working down the nail bar, Susan down the nail bar, she ain't tough, and she'll tell you about all her problems. But someone who's in the military or in the security service or in the NHS, they're tough people, and tough people don't want to talk about it. So I do feel like it needs to be there, and there should be something. Like I say, shout out guys if it's already there. But I feel if I don't know about it, it's not that much of a big thing.
Potentially.
I feel like it's such a big problem. Everyone should know if there's some help there.
I mean, I'm sure there probably is something.
It's minute.
I
should ask you, have you ever heard about this? Like, you've heard of Cancer Research UK, right?
Yeah.
That's how big it should be. That's how big it should be. You should know. Everyone knows Cancer Research UK. Well, we should all know about a charity or something that's trying to help service. surfaces.
I'll be really surprised there's not, man. I'll be really, really surprised there's not.
I'm going to look for it.
So,
Someone's going to shout on here
no,
now.
yeah,
Like, Sam, you're slagging this off. I'm
Someone
not
will
slagging it
definitely
off.
say-
I'm just saying
Someone will
it
definitely
should
say.
be. I'm saying it should be.
I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's there.
Wow, that was sick, man. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you for finally coming in.
No problem at all. It took a while.
It has took a while. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for sharing your stories. I hope Stu's stories resonate with some people and can help a few people. If you need to talk to someone, I'm here, man. Reach out on my social medias. I'm not going to flood people with Stu because Stu's got his own problems to sort with at the moment. But speak to me and I can point you in the right direction to people. Or head to Discover Minds, which is the dude I had on the podcast. He's great with all that mental health stuff. So, yeah, thanks for coming on.
No problem at all, mate.
And let's wrap the episode up there.
Okay.
Please check out waxandrelax.co.uk.